Welcome to Make and Decorate, a podcast for makers who love to sew, quilt, and decorate. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Make and Decorate podcast. This is Season 3, Episode 60, originally published on November 26th, 2020. So happy American Thanksgiving to everyone in the United States. It's our Thanksgiving holiday today on the 26th of November. A very different Thanksgiving, I'm sure, for mostly everyone. So I hope you're enjoying it as best as you can this year. We are staying home, like a lot of people, but I'm still preparing some food. I gave it like a slim, just a slim thought of, hey, I could take this year off and not have to prepare any, dishes or turkeys or anything for Thanksgiving. But my husband had different ideas. When it's just, my husband and I and our little Cooper dog, Cooper will get some turkey too. I usually just prepare a turkey breast anyway, so it's not that complicated, but I am definitely downsizing the number of side dishes that I'm going to make this year and desserts. So in fact, I've already made what our dessert is going to be, and that is pumpkin bread. A real simple, quick bread recipe made with pumpkin puree and all the nice spices. And I'll put a link to this recipe. I had not made it before, but it is really good. It's very moist bread. And I've made our cranberry sauce, homemade. I make that every year. It is so simple, and I keep it simple. I don't put a bunch of extra things like apples and nuts and all this other stuff into it. I like a really fresh flavor to my cranberry sauce, and I like the texture of the cranberries. But it's so fast to make, and the liquid that I put in there is orange juice. So if you like a really bright citrusy flavor, by the time this airs, you probably already made your cranberry sauce, but in the future, you could make your cranberry sauce with orange juice. And basically, it's just orange juice, sweetener of your choice, and I put a cinnamon stick in there. And it gives it a nice, subtle cinnamon flavor. It doesn't knock you over at all. So that is my cranberry sauce. And then the turkey breast I like to make is the roulade recipe from Ina Garten. So that is probably the most difficult thing to make because, there are a lot of steps. You have to triple butterfly the breast so that it's you are slicing the turkey breast thin to the same thickness all the way across, and then so that you can roll the stuffing into it, roll it up it's almost like a sponge cake spiral idea, but it's done with turkey and the stuffing. So that's the roulade. And it's just real simple other sides, roasted sweet potatoes and green beans. So that's it. And that's enough. And that'll be great. And in addition to that, another reason why I'm really trying to simplify everything is that I have got to rest both of my arms. I have 2 arm injuries. It's ridiculous. I can't even believe this. But my right elbow is the tendonitis that has flared up again. But in addition to that, I injured my left forearm. Oh, my sister calls it, she's an athletic trainer, and she called it the extensor muscle strain. That's in my left arm. They're 2 different injuries, thank goodness, because the extensor muscle is what, you feel when you lift a coffee cup, or lift a gallon of milk, anything kind of like that. It really, really hurts. So my sister was just over yesterday, and I got a nice little physical therapy session with her, and which was pretty nice. But she did this kind of deep tissue massage to kind of break up, and man, it hurts. It hurts right now. Oh my gosh. But if you've ever been to physical therapy before, it's like no walk in the park. I had physical therapy on my shoulder um, a year and a half ago, I guess. And yeah, it hurts. They like zero in on these muscles and they put a lot of pressure on them and all this, stuff that goes with it. But anyway, let's not talk anymore about that. So, as a result of these injuries, I have to set aside knitting for a while, which means no Christmas balls with Arne and Carlos. Oh, I know. I'm a little sad about that, but I just don't want to push it anymore. I want to rest the arms and for them to heal so that I can start doing things again with them totally healed. But I will be watching every day. They're doing a video starting December 1st, 1 through 25, and 25 Christmas ornament balls that have different knitted patterns and designs on them. But let me tell you, I have been practicing, to get a practice in, I guess, because I don't know what I'm doing at all. And I was trying to get used to the 5 double point needles. And I got the ones that Arne and Carlos recommended, the Prim. And they're very nice. They have like this triangle shape, but they're very slick and smooth lacquer type of a finish on them and slippery. So I couldn't keep the loops on there when I had like all 5 of the needles going on. So then I ordered the clover bamboo double pointed needles. And then I was practicing with those, and already I was doing a little bit better because the bamboo is not as slippery. So the loops were kind of staying on there much better. However, I still have a very hard time on that first round where you have to close this, I don't know what they call it, but closing the loop, or when you fill up the 4 needles with your divided out cast on stitches, and then there's that gap that you have to close up, and then you start knitting the first row. That part is the hardest for me. I have the hardest time doing that. And then the next hardest part is just continuing and keeping all those needles in order and knowing how not to twist them. And it's just a beginner's learning curve. So, but I have to put all that aside now. I'm not going to, do it for quite a bit of time. Maybe probably like a couple of months. But I can do some limited sewing machine projects. So the only thing that I find painful in sewing is, a ton of rotary cutting and pulling stitched things right side out. So if like you make a pillowcase and you've got to pull it right side out, or a zippered pouch, that pulling does hurt. But otherwise, everything else is okay on a sewing machine. So I'm just going to take it easy and do what I can. And let's see, let's get into the topic for today, which is holiday handmade gift ideas. So now we are in it. We are in this holiday rush where you just go into this time warp and you have no idea how you were just at Thanksgiving and now you're already at your holiday, whether it's Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, all of those holidays that are in December. So, I went through, there's some things that I have going on that I'll share with you. And then I looked up a few more online, just, Pinteresty and stuff like that, just to kind of give you a list of kind of like impressive, quick gifts to make that are not going to take you forever and hopefully won't stress you out and keep you up all hours of the night trying to get stuff done. So Uh, the first one, and this is what I've been making, fabric bowl cozies. And these are actually really fun for me to make. I enjoy making these because they're so quick and they are pretty impressive looking, especially when you make a set of 4. And the bowl cozies, they're kind of like a oven mitt for the microwave and holding bowls so that you don't burn your hands. And they're really pretty. So they make great gifts. And you can make them. So there's many different patterns and styles and techniques to make these. But I am doing the gypsy quilter template, and the gypsy also has the pre-cut batting pieces, which has the little V darts cut out of them already. So I kind of wavered on whether, I could cut my own batting out, but I'm so glad I got these because first of all, it eliminates rotary cutting, and it makes the process so much faster. You can zip through these bowl cozies so quickly, and it's really cool. You get really impressed with yourself. So the concept with the gypsy bowl cozies is that you can use the 2.5-inch strips, and it takes 5 strips, and out of the width of the fabric, so those the strips are selvage to selvage, which is you probably get about 42 to 43 inches of usable fabric, and you can get four like bowl tops, I guess I would call them, like one-sided. So like I made them with one side with the strips, and then on the inside I did a single fabric. So that was a good combination. And or you can do, strips on both sides of the bowl. There's so many different variations you can do, but I have the mammoth flannel plaid fabric, so I paired that up with the 5 strips of fabric that I did. So the decorative strip fabric part is on the outside of the bowl, and the mammoth flannel is on the inside. And it's got a nice scallop shape to it. There's 4 kind of like petals, almost looks like a flower. And very, very simple to make. So that's a really good gift that you could make and gift. Another gift to make are pillows. So you can make pillows with or without the fillers, but those are really pretty quick to make, and also are pretty impressive, especially for people who do not sew. They just think it's like amazing, and that you've made these really cool decorative pillows, and they can be as simple as just making them with no trim, where they're just a plain knife edge. And knife edge just means the front sewn to the back with no decorative edging at all. That's just what a knife edge means. And you can put a zipper or not put a zipper in there. I always like to kind of put a zipper in, because then it makes it easy for them to either A, switch out pillows, or B, able to take the pillow covers off and clean them. The only time that I really just hand stitch the pillows, the opening closed, is if it's done in a fancy fabric that can only be dry cleaned. Then, you can just, hand stitch that up. What else? Oh, another tip for these pillows is that if you are doing the pillow covers with the fillers, let's say, okay, you bought a 16-inch square filler, then you'd want to cut your pillow pieces 1 inch smaller. So you would cut them 15-inch square. because then that filler will really fill up that cover and you won't have those gaps at the corners, and it won't have kind of like a saggy look to it either. So that's kind of just like a rule of thumb if you want a nice full looking pillow. Another quick gift that you can make are simple zipper pouches. Those are also pretty quick. They're very fast to make, and everybody loves a zippered pouch, even guys. So a zippered simple pouch is a wonderful gift to make, and it's fairly quick to do. I know that So Sweetness has a bunch of pouch designs of all different types. And, even she has this free one that is like completely, you can make it in like 5-10 minutes. It's crazy because you can make it with cork if you have cork fabric, and it's a super simple, you just sew the zipper to the cork, and then basically you just close it up by sewing down, across, and up the three sides. There's no lining. And what I have done with that is I've added a wristlet to it. And I think now she has a tutorial on how to add a wristlet. So that is like a super cute gift, especially like maybe for like teenagers or people who just like a little tiny zippered pouch to put, just small things in. What else? Oh, I made some knit headbands this summer for my nieces, and they loved them. And what was surprising is that my sisters were my one sister was trying to like take the headband from her daughter to wear herself. She was just teasing her, but she really liked the headband. So I actually should make some for her. That just reminds me. But they're so simple to make if you have some knit fabric, and it's really good for knit fabric scraps because you only need a piece, like for an adult size, what is it, like 9 inches by 18 inches, and they just double over, and you can use a zigzag stitch if you don't have a serger. So that one is pretty easy, and I even think I put a link to that on one of my previous episodes, so I'll look for it and see if I can redirect that link into this show's show notes. And another one is if you have someone that is into reading and they still read like the old school paper books, hardcover or paperback, but they're not the Kindle, you can use really cute fabric scraps and make bookmarks for a gift. And then what I like to do too is, like, for instance, this a fabric bookmark, by itself, it may not be enough, but you can pair it with, let's say you're going to give them a book, and then you've had something handmade to go with, a book that you purchase, and it just kind of like elevates the gift and has a much more personal touch and meaning to the gift. You can monogram that book, the bookmark with the person's initials. So it's pretty quick. That's another really quick one that you can make. And another really small thing to make. I know this was popular like about 5 years ago, but those fabric, it was like a wristlet key fob, and I think Amazon sells it. There's those little metal closures with the 2 prongs that you clamp over the fabric wristlet, and then it has the key ring attached to it. So simple and easy to make. Very quick gift. So all of these, some of these can be really nice stocking stuffers or add-on gifts to other things that you're giving. And of course, one of my favorites are pillowcases. It seems like everybody loves custom pillowcases. And when you make it in a fabric that they enjoy, it's just, it sounds like such a boring and mundane gift to give, but it's really not. I mean, I'm shocked that even like my little nephews and nieces get excited over pillowcases that were made for them, but they're in like fabrics that they really enjoy. You know, like the Star Wars fabric or whatever. So, pillowcases are still a really good gift to give and to simple to make. And then for people who are bakers or cooks or anything like that, mason jar fabric covers are really a cute thing to give, especially for people who do canning. I think it's a really just cute and personalized gift that's really quick to make. And there's a different way. You can just make plain ones with a decorative edge and add a ribbon to it, but I'm making some that have embroidered designs on the center of it. And I got these designs from Embroidery Library, I believe. But they're really cute. I got the winter themed one. So there's like a snowflake design. There's a deer, there's a snowman, and so you can make those for gifts that you're actually giving away in a mason jar. I know those are really kind of cool gifts to give, especially now, because people are spending a lot of time at home and they're cooking and they're baking at home. So to give a gift of a mason jar filled with ingredients they need to make something, like for instance, cookies. You can put like all the dry ingredients for cookies with the recipe in the mason jar and make a really cute little fabric cover that you tie with either twine or a little ribbon. So really, really a cute gift. And it could be cookie mix, it could be soup mix. Um, oh, there was another one I thought about. Hot chocolate. Hot chocolate with the marshmallows. I mean, you could just it's just endless. The combinations that you can make and put inside of a mason jar. Another favorite of mine is tea towels or kitchen towels. This is kind of something I think that a lot of people just don't, think of purchasing for themselves. Because decorative tea towels, that's kind of like you know, I guess sort of a frivolous thing. Like, you're really probably investing in just like your daily workhorse dish towels, but really pretty decorative tea towels, I think, are a really nice gift to give and to get. And you can, if you need something really quick, you can actually get just ready-made plain kitchen towels or tea towels, and then you can just embellish them. I've added fabric banding at the bottom of towels. And this again is really good for smaller pieces of fabric that you may have. And you just simply turn in the top and the bottom edges 1/4 of an inch and you stitch them right onto the towel, wrap it around the two sides, and then fold those raw edges in and stitch them down the two sides of the towel. And there you go. You have a really pretty decorative towel. You can take that one step further and you can add a ribbon down the center on top of that fabric banding on a decorative towel. So if you guys have that really pretty tulip pink Renaissance ribbons, you can use that for a tea towel. Or any other Renaissance type ribbon, or you could put grosgrain ribbons, anything like that. You can put the little pom-pom trims on either side of the fabric banding. And if you don't do any banding at all, if you have a machine embroidery machine, then you can simply just upload a design and stitch it out onto that tea towel. I personally like the single color thread embroidery designs because it's quick and it's still super impressive looking, and you don't have to sit there and clip your threads and make your thread changes like 10 times in a row. Sometimes you're making thread changes and then you're changing it back to the same color thread on a different part of the embroidery design. That's pretty time consuming for a one needle machine. So I do understand why some people invest in like those 16 needle embroidery machines, because then you don't have to change any of the thread colors and they all just stitch out one after the other, like magic. But embroidered designs on anything people really, really love. You could embroider patches. Patches are really big right now. Hey, have you guys seen the Tula Pink patches that she's been making? She just did a video this past week, and it's part of her line work collection. So she took the skunk design out of it and made that into a patch. And then she made a little extra patch with a little cloud that says poot on it, because a skunk, a skunk releases his flowery perfume per se. And yeah, so patches are really a popular thing, I think, and another nice way to personalize something that's already ready made. So think about things like that kind of saves you time, but still is a really like personalized and handmade gift still. So I also have some non-sewing gifts to make. So I am doing another batch of Madagascar vanilla extract, and I made this 2 years ago for gifts, and it was the first time that I made it, and people loved it and were asking me for refills. Even though I told them that, because I left vanilla beans in each bottle that I gave away, and all you have to do is top it off with some more vodka, and the vanilla beans will steep. You can even add more vanilla beans to it and just keep it going. I got that idea from Ina Garten. Ina Garten is one of my favorites. Like, I have been watching her show from the Food Network since the beginning. Like, Ina Garten, I remember before she had a single cookbook out or anything, when she was a guest on the Martha Stewart show. Like, way, way back. I think it was like in the late 90s. And that's at the time where Ina Garten had the Barefoot Contessa specialty food shop in the Hamptons. So, yeah. And ever since then, I have been just like a huge fan of hers, because she makes really delicious foods that are not too hard to make, and the ingredients aren't that crazy that you can't like get them from where from the regular grocery store. So yeah, that's where I got the idea, because she said she had this bottle, a large bottle of a jar of vanilla extract that she has had in her pantry for 20 years, and she just keeps adding the beans and the vodka to it. Isn't that cool? That is so cool. So I still have my jar that I made from a couple years ago in my pantry. Not as huge as her jar, because I don't I don't cook as much as her, but it's pretty cool. And it doesn't even have to be vanilla extract. You can make extracts from a lot of different things. I want to try in the future to make a lemon extract. It's pretty simple, and it's the same technique. It's basically all vodka steeped ingredients. So, and the lemon one is like the lemon, you peel off just the zest part of the lemon, and that steeps in the vodka. Almonds, the same idea for almond extract. Mint extract. So all of those extracts are really cool. And real extracts are pretty expensive in, the specialty food stores, like even Williams Sonoma. I mean, a small little jar of Madagascar vanilla extract can cost you like $50. It's crazy. So that's a really good non-sewing gift to make and to gift. The only thing is you have to start brewing or whatever it's called. You have to start making the extract a couple of months ahead of time so that it has time to, actually like become the extract. Because the longer it steeps or sits, the better stronger it becomes. So the next item would be baked items. So, and the baked items I think that are good gifts to give are the ones that are not too delicate and what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, sheesh. Perishable. Like the ones that don't need to be constantly refrigerated, that sort of thing. But the ones that are pretty hearty and that I think go over well with a lot of people are quick breads, like the pumpkin bread I mentioned. Cranberry orange bread is really nice at this time of year. Banana bread. Like any of those types of shortbreads are really good things to make and gift. I already mentioned the mason jars filled with ingredients. Mason jars too. I mean, you can like put anything in mason jars and gift them, and they look kind of cool. You could also gift some like homemade bath salts in a mason jar. And I mean, I think like all you would have to do is use Epsom salt that was mixed in with whatever essential oil blends that you would want to use. Lavender, of course, is a popular one, but that you could also do one that is a blend of things or citrus. So I think bath salts are kind of like a good idea. So yeah, I think that non-sewing gifts that are food related are probably going to be pretty popular this year because, again, so many people are spending so much time home and are having to prepare more meals than maybe they've never prepared before, and also have taken up baking. Do you remember early on in the year where there were all these trends, like all of a sudden everyone was baking bread? And that was going viral amongst all the social medias. And then everyone was baking banana bread. So yeah, it's just it's what everyone's doing now. So food gifts, I think, are a good idea. Okay, and then I want to also talk a little bit about wrapping gifts and some ideas that you can do that are sort of like unconventional, where if you don't want to just, buy wrapping paper, and more, I have scaled back on buying wrapping paper. I still buy it every now and then, but I really have cut back a ton, and I really like using more natural things to wrap gifts. And it's cost effective. So for instance, if you get a roll of craft paper, you can wrap anything with brown craft paper. I think they even make like a white craft paper too. But I have seen people make some really nice looking wrapping paper from craft paper using stamps. And it's such a simple idea, but once you start stamping a design, all over with, let's say like a repeat, maybe, if you do it in a design, or if it's just random, it makes a really cool looking wrapping paper. And if you like to paint, you could even do some watercolor designs on the wrapping paper, like a really wide kind of a color wash, really simple. You could do an ombre color wash where you start with a really intense, deep color of the watercolor paint, and then just add water to your brush and kind of brush it up, or however you're doing your ombre, whatever direction. You start at the one end and you draw the color down, and the color gets a little bit lighter and lighter and lighter. So those are really pretty. Another thing of decorate, like what to wrap the gifts with. So now you got your paper. Let's say you're doing craft paper on your gifts. I always love to make ribbons out of leftover fabrics. So, like if you have 2.5 inch binding strips are perfect to make into ribbons. So you can just press them open into like 2.5 inches. You can even use leftover 2.5 inch pieces from like your jelly rolls that you haven't used. And all you have to do is stitch something on either side, whether you use a serger. I love to just use a serger, a three thread overlock stitch, a narrow one on each side of the fabric, and that just makes a beautiful ribbon. If you don't have a serger, you could do a straight stitch a little bit kind of, inside, like give yourself a little seam allowance. I don't know, maybe even just like a little 1/4 inch one to 3/8 inch. And if it's a linen cotton blend, it will make a nice fringed edge, but it's a little more work to like get it to fringe, but it's still an idea. And burlap, actually, when I'm talking about fringe, I was thinking about burlap actually will fringe very easily. And you can make, cut up strips of that and make into ribbons, more of a natural look. And then to even add a little bit more embellishment, you can add things like small pine cones glued to twigs and place that inside your bow. If you want to add a little bit of color, you can add berries on stems to the package. I love adding little greenery like the pine needle twigs. And they smell good too. But I love adding stuff like that. And if you don't have the real stuff, you can always get the faux ones from Michael's. They have those little stems attached. They're specifically made for like decorating like that. And that's what I used to do like years and years ago. I would just get a bunch of those because they were like, I don't know, 50 cents a piece. They're like more like 99 cents a piece now if you can get them on sale, and they can get actually even more expensive than that. But yeah, when they were like only 50 cents a piece and they were like these little red berries with the evergreen twig, I loved those, and they just really like add a wow factor to your gifts. Because, at the end of the day, what does everybody do once they open a wrapped gift? All of that paper and the ribbons go in the garbage, right? So I found that when I have wrapped gifts with the handmade ribbons that I've done, they keep that ribbon because it's fabric. It's like it's reusable. So that I think is just a lot more fulfilling and I don't know, I think less wasteful. And the brown craft paper is recyclable and all of that. So I don't know, it just kind of like after a while, I used to take so much time and effort wrapping these masterpiece gifts. Like they were just like gorgeous. They had the beautiful gold big ribbons. I doubled and tripled the ribbons and did these fantastical bows with all the berries and twigs and little like glittery, thing decorations and stuff like that into the gifts. I would put jingle bells in them. I mean, it was just like, it's kind of fun to be able to do that, but it's for so much work. First of all. And I don't know, like, I guess back then, I mean, I'm talking like 15 plus years ago. I don't know, I guess I had a lot more energy too, being that much younger. But I think over the years, seeing everything discarded and even like watching the embellishments get tossed into the garbage. Like if I got a gift and I had like that, sprig of the fake, stems with the berries and the evergreen twigs, I would keep those. But, not everybody is into that kind of stuff. Not everyone is crafty or creative and can find another use for it. So yeah, it started to kind of like bring me down and get disheartening to see like my little masterpieces get destroyed and then thrown away. So I think it's like a lot more fun just to make, simpler and that they're getting tossed, but it's a bit more recyclable and I don't know, for me a little less heartbreaking, I guess. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if you're like thinking I'm cuckoo, but that's just what I have experienced. And I have noticed in myself that my wrapping techniques have changed over the years and I have simplified it a ton. And I don't put a bunch of like stuff all over the gift, but I still like it to look pretty. And I'm telling you, those fabric ribbons are the trick. And that's what a lot of us have. We have a lot of 2.5-inch strips left over. We have a lot of unused binding strips. So use those for ribbons. In fact, if it's leftover binding, you don't even have to do anything with it because it's already folded, in half. But you can actually, if you did not want to take the time to stitch either side of these fabric strips, you could take a little time just to press it like a double fold binding where you press each end in towards the center and then you fold that in half on top of itself and press that. And then there are no raw edges. And then that can be used as a ribbon with no sewing involved. So that's what I've got for wrapping gifts. Actually, no. Fabric is another good use for wrapping gifts. I've done it like for my niece that likes to sew. So I've wrapped her gifts with fabrics because the fabric ends up being another gift. But I do not wrap gifts in fabric for people who have no use for fabric and they don't see any value in it. But anyway, yeah. But fabric does make a really cool gift wrapping. All right, so I hope these tips are helpful for you. And I just know that this is a time of year where a lot of us kind of get into that panic mode and we see the clock time just ticking down into days, into hours before our holidays. So just think about other things that you can do that are much faster and quicker to make, but yet still impressive of a gift to make. Okay, I want to give an update on Cooper's hand sewn patch that I did on his Teddy Kong bear. I did a post on Instagram, but I'm sure that because of the algorithms and because I haven't been posting that often, not a lot of people have seen it. but I'll put a picture of it in the podcast show notes. So Kong is a brand of dog toy. They manufacture toys and plushie toys, and those Kong, their most popular product, I think, is that rubber cone, spirally cone-shaped Kong. It's called a Kong, and you can fill it with cheese or peanut butter, and the dogs can chew on it, so it's kind of rubbery. So it's a little bit of a softer chew than like a hard bone. And my dog loves his Kong, and I don't know if he's trained or I'm trained. He's trained me, but every time he smells toast being made, he runs and scrambles to find his Kong, because then he'll bring it to me for me to fill it up with peanut butter. And now he knows when I bring it doesn't even have to be toast. If I bring the peanut butter jar out, he will run and find his Kong. So he loves that. So that's one of the Kong products. But I also got him this teddy bear, and it's so cute. It almost reminds me of like a Boyd's bear. But the Kong products are known for being like they hold up against rough use. They can stand up to like, heavy dog chewing and that sort of thing and playing. So the Kong bear is made, and there is like a really like tough, it's probably like a 1/2-inch diameter rope. So the structure of the inside of the bear, the legs and the arms, are made out of this rope. And then there is fiber fill stuffed around that rope. So it's not all just fiber fill on the inside. There's like a hard rope, and then that actually, I think, satisfies a dog's chewing also, because it's a little harder, and they're not like totally trying to like rip it apart. But my dog does. His goal is to like get to the stuffing. But this toy has lasted a really long time. Like we've had it for at least 9 months. I mean, that's a long time for this toy to last with my dog, because especially when he was a puppy, there was no plush toy. We tried them all. We tried the ones that said they are indestructible. I remember we got the shark. It's indestructible. He had it ripped apart within minutes. It was crazy. Oh, so then we stopped getting the plush toys for him, but he loves them so much. So when I found this Kong bear, and learned about the rope that was inside of it, I gave it a try, and it's pretty good. So anyway, the whole long story is about how he finally got to the stuffing on the one leg. And I was almost going to throw it in the garbage, but it was really breaking my heart, because it was totally a good, still stuffed bear. It only had the one, hole in the leg. But with my previous experience of the other plush toys, I would machine mend them, and he would be able to rip them open again. So I have never hand mended. I've never put a patch, a hand mended patch onto his toys. But this time I did, and it was in a good location on this leg where I could wrap it around the leg, and I got like a denim fabric, like a strong, like from a pair of jeans that we no longer use, made a patch out of it. I have red denim jean thread, and I just did a blanket stitch around this patch. And then I made it cute, because I embroidered a little heart design on the patch as well. So I'll put a picture of that up. But the update is that it is still looking good. Like, knock on wood, this patch is holding up to the dog play. So we'll see how long it lasts. But I am so glad I saved it. I'm so glad that I did not toss away that toy. But the Kong plush animal toys are really good. They're very, very good. And Costco, if you have a Costco near you, They at least our Costco has like this 5-pack of the Kong stuffed animal toys. So we haven't gotten that, but because he just has the one, he just needs the one. But if you have multiple dogs, that would be a really cool, uh, I guess, gift to give them for Christmas. Do you give your dogs gifts at Christmas? We used to, like, when he was a puppy, of course, I mean, I made him a stocking. He has his stocking that I put out, and I hand embroidered his name Cooper on it. But over the years, we just, have fallen off that whole, like, we have to give Cooper a gift because he gets like stuff all the time. He gets his bones and his treats and everything. But yeah, I don't know. I think people do still kind of like to give their dogs some special gifts around the holidays. All right, here's another update. So I received my Christmas box that I ordered from the last Homely house, but I have not opened it yet. So I think I'm gonna do an unboxing quick video of it. But I just didn't want to open it like any, regular Amazon order box and not just like have the time to really like appreciate and soak in all of these really cool handmade items. So, I'm gonna, wait till I get like a moment of time to really enjoy it and have a good look at all of these things. And so I don't know if I have one of the handwritten notes from John, her son, but he when he was helping um, fill the boxes and get them ready to ship, so he started writing these notes on the box tops. So we'll see if I have a note, but I'm not sure. I'll let you know. Okay, so I hope these ideas are helpful to you, or that even if they just strike up some creative ideas that lead you to other gifts you decide to make for your family and loved ones. So please feel free to share your ideas on other gifts that you think would be great to make for the holidays. You can share it on the podcast page in the comments, or you can send me an email. The podcast has an email. It's info@makeanddecorate.com. So make and decorate is just all spelled out. All right. So before I go, I made a change to the podcast schedule, and I pushed back the guest recording that I have with Sandra Johnson. I'm going to publish it next Thursday. So I just ran into running out of time. I ran out of time to get everything. I could have done it in a super mad rush, but I didn't feel comfortable with what quality would happen from that. So I decided that I would just take the time to edit the recording properly and put it up next week. So I just recorded a nice little casual holiday podcast for you, especially for today. And then you're going to get another episode next week. So, hey, this is a bonus. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're enjoying your holiday. And make sure you take some time for just you to sew and create to your heart's content. And for everyone else across the world, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Thanks to everyone. This is a holiday for reflecting on what you're thankful for. And I am thankful for this podcast and for everyone who listens. It's not a huge produced professional podcast with fancy sponsors and gajillions of subscribers, but hey, I have got more subscribers than I thought that I would get. So I'm very happy with that. And I thank you for listening and for subscribing. I hope that you continue to listen and stay tuned for next week when I have a guest, Sandra Johnson of Sandra Johnson Designs. We're going to talk about borrow mending and some of her classes coming up in the QuiltCon together. So take care, everyone, and stay safe, healthy, and happy, and crafty. Happy quilting. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to the Make and Decorate podcast. The podcast is produced, recorded, and edited by Stephanie Socha. Until next time, have a great day. Bye.